Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, innovation come together. My name is Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Ben Goertzel, founder and CEO of SingularityNET. Ben Goertzel is a renowned AI researcher, entrepreneur, and visionary. He's the founder and CEO of SingularityNET, a decentralized AI network that aims to democratize access to AI technologies. With PhD in mathematics from Temple University, Ben has an extensive background in AI, cognitive science, and machine learning. Over his prolific career, he has authored numerous research papers and books on AI and futurism. Prior to founding SingularityNET, he held various leadership roles in both academia and industry, contributed significantly to advancements in AI. As a chief scientist of robotics firm Hanson Robotics, he led the software team behind the Sophia robot. Through his work, Ben continues to push the boundaries of AI, advocating for a future where decentralized AI can benefit all of humanity. Ben, great seeing you. Welcome to our Bold Talk series. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a super busy times to be working on AI as you might imagine, but very interesting times also. So yeah, you mentioned Sophia. We're working on some little younger siblings for Sophia here as well. So this is one of the mind child robots, sort of in the works in our robot lab, which are going to be like 3.5 foot tall robots with a charging station like a Roomba that can sort of cruise around and try to learn from the environment. And we see on the wall behind me we've got Desdemona. So I'll be performing music with her at the end of this week in Austin at the Purple Bee near the Consensus Crypto event. So lots of fun stuff going on with the
Amazing.
robots. But I mean, in the end, robots are just one
One piece.
particularly entertaining user interface for the underlying AI. And it's the machine cognition that is really the most important thing, the driving robotics and all the other application areas.
Have you gotten a name for her, for the sibling of Sophia?
No. I mean that the new species is the mind children, but
Okay.
we don't have a name for any specific mind children yet. But maybe we'll let them name themselves once they start cruising around our lab and learning.
Yeah, that's amazing. Ben, give us an overview of SingularityNet and your journey that led you start SingularityNet.
Sure. So I've been interested in AI and what we now call AGI since I was a kid in the early 1970s. Probably wrote my first lines of AI code in 1979 or something when I was a teenager and bought my first general purpose computer. And when the internet emerged, it started to seem to me like, and when the web emerged, let's say in the mid late 90s, started to seem to me like it was all getting more plausible. I mean, we were going to get a lot of computers all networked together, a lot of the data, we're going to get a lot of practical capabilities there that would let us realize the visions of AI to achieve the human level and transcend the human level, which, I mean, these visions that existed since before I was born, but seemed like, the technology was coming together. And I'd gotten a PhD in math in the late 80s. My primary thrust as a researcher was trying to figure out the mathematics of cognition, like trying to understand fundamentally how thinking works. But when the internet came out, it became clear to me like the best way to create a thinking machine wasn't going to be just to copy people. I mean, making robots that went around doing like people is cool. On the other hand, the internet is a different way to suck in a whole lot of data and gives different avenues for action. It also became clear to me you could do things very decentralized on the internet, right? I mean, the internet itself is a decentralized network. So the way the internet works seemed to give you the capability to put out an AI that lived across many, many different machines all over the place, owned and controlled by everyone and no one. Now, at that point, when I started thinking about that, late 90s and early aughts, making decentralized AI networks was awkward because programming languages were slow, computers didn't have much RAM, networks were slow, right? So I spent a bunch of time working on AGI research and development, trying to understand different learning, reasoning, thinking, perception, self-formation algorithms and such. But then when Ethereum came out with the notion of smart contracts, and I guess 2017 or so is when I got into it, then I saw like the time had come to do not just AGI R&D, but decentralized infrastructure for AI and ultimately AGI systems. So I founded SingularityNET with a number of other partners in 2017, basically with the aim of building decentralized infrastructure to build more and more advanced AI systems on top of that. And so since that time, since we got SingularityNET going at the end of 2017, I've been sort of working on several different levels. One is decentralized infrastructure for AI. The other is core AGI algorithms and representations, for instance, in the OpenCog Hyperon project. The other is applying AI to a variety of different things, right? And I mean, we know the AI can be applied in every area there is. So there's a host of application projects we have going in the SingularityNET ecosystem,
Yeah.
both within SingularityNET Foundation and various spin-off projects that we've launched.
Very impressive. Well, what's really impressive is your mission of creating a decentralized, democratic, inclusive, beneficial AI intelligence. And you stated it very well in your website, an AGI that is not dependent on any central entity, but that is open for anyone and not restricted to the narrow goals of a single corporation or even a single country. Can you elaborate a little bit on this for someone who have a hard
Well,
time?
yeah. So, I mean, we see that open source code has had a lot of power
Mhm.
and open networks have had a lot of power, right? So, like the fact that anyone can customize Linux or deploy it is very valuable. So, I mean, most embedded systems, robots, routers, whatever it is, pacemakers, these run embedded Linux. And Iran and North Korea are running Linux on their computer networks. You know, they're even though they're not accepted as part of the Western economy right now. And the internet, anyone can put a machine on the internet and will talk to other machines on the internet, right? So, I mean, I think AI should be rolled out a conceptually analogous way to Linux or the internet, and I think that's going to be for the better for all of us. I mean, indeed, openness and democracy, broad participation can be messy. I mean, terrorists can use the internet or Linux too. But on the whole, I have more faith in the vast teeming mass of humanity than in some isolated elite group to control everything, right? And
Yeah.
the thing is, making AI decentralized and democratically controlled in some ways is thornier than doing this for other sorts of software, because open source code doesn't get you that far for AI. You need not just code, you need the data to feed to the AI. Then you need a lot of processing power operating together in a coordinated way. So to make AI democratic and decentralized, you need a lot of infrastructure to allow data to be sourced ethically, gathered together and aggregated, stored and accessed efficiently. And then you need processing power to be combined together and coordinated across many different locations toward the goal of making advanced AI systems do their things. And that's what we've been building in SingularityNet, then associated projects like NewNet and Hypercycle and so forth. And we're now tightly integrating SingularityNET with a bunch of other decentralized AI projects, including Fetch.ai and Ocean Protocol as well, to make a sort of
Mm.
decentralized network of decentralized networks. And all this is doable. It's a lot of work, and it's all in some ways additional to and orthogonal to the work to make AGI systems and systems that can reason, learn, and understand themselves and so forth. So it's it's a different development direction than the Google, Apple, Tencent, Baidu of the world have
Yeah.
been taking, but it's very feasible given current compute hardware and networks and computer science knowledge.
Now, Ben, you have a huge faith in humanity, and we touched a little bit on the security side of things. Well, how does SingularityNet ensures security and reliability in a decentralized environment like this? Um,
I mean, security in the simplest sense works much better in blockchain-based networks than traditional centralized compute networks, right? Because the traditional centralized way of doing things put everything on your server farm, then put a bunch of firewalls around it. And if some sysadmin doesn't install the right patch on time, then someone will hack in. Whereas, I mean, the blockchain way to do it is, I mean, we're encrypting things at the quite fine-grained level because the whole nature of blockchain is it's a sort of trustless system, right? So, I mean, I think we're more secure against attacks on the system than centralized or big tech-based AI systems. Of course, there are other kinds of security than technical security, right? And you could ask, like, if we have an open system, how do we know that some bad guys don't make the system do bad things that they think of? And I mean, of course, you don't have a total guarantee about that. You don't either have a total guarantee that foreign spies aren't implanted in big tech company, taking all the goodies to another country, which happens routinely, actually, right? So I mean, I think that there's a fictitious notion like you could have AGI developed by three geniuses in a bomb shelter a mile under the UN headquarters in Switzerland or something. But I mean, that's sort of not on offer in the world right now, right? What's happening is big tech corporations, which have constant turnover of their staff and close ties to intelligence organizations, are infiltrated by espionage, blah, blah, blah. It's these big tech corporations, or else it's a decentralized network, such as my colleagues and I are curating and developing. None of these are absolutely secure, right? I mean, that's the reality of it. But I mean, we also live in a world where briefcase nukes are readily available throughout many former Soviet republics, right? Like there's in my view, there's a lot more dangerous things than AI on the planet
yeah.
now, because AI we can teach to be compassionate and love us and respect us and work with us. And I don't know how to teach briefcase nuke that. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think actually people worry a lot about AI doing bad things to humanity, but we should worry a lot more about humans doing bad things to humanity with dumb technology, which we're already doing all over the place anyway.
Yeah. That's it's always that fear that comes in humans, right? Something
Some
new.
people are afraid of the unknown. Some people embrace the unknown, such as myself. And this really says more about how our brains and emotional makeups
Yeah.
uh, operate than anything else, I think.
Now, Ben, I heard you somewhere. I'm not sure where exactly, but I heard you were talking about as a kid when you moved to Jersey with your parents, and you were reading this. Was it Prometheus Project? Was it the book?
Yeah, that was where I first learned about what we would now call the singularity. I
Yeah.
probably picked up the book in 73 or 74 from the Haddonfield town library in South Jersey. And I mean,
Now,
this the book basically was written by a physicist from Princeton University. It said within a few decades, we'll probably have machines smarter than people, the ability to manufacture things that are so little we can't see them at the nanoscale. And we'll have, medications that will allow us to prolong our lives indefinitely.
yeah,
And then the question will be, what do we do with this? Do we use it to expand our consciousness in amazing way? Do we use it to promote rampant meaningless consumerism or what? And Feinberg proposed we put this question to a democratic vote of the world population, and that the UN should carry out this democratic vote. No, I
yeah,
mean, unfortunately, he was more naive about the political, practical aspect than about the technical aspect. But it was it was cool to see a serious scientist put forth a vision like that. I'd seen things like that in science fiction when I was even younger, right? But
yeah. Now,
science.
how much of that, uh, like the big tech is inspired um, from that book? Do you think, because that book truly also tells a lot about the how it should be rolled out, what type of a propaganda should be used, and so on. And like we're now kind of experiencing that a little bit, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think our experience is gonna change radically year on year as we get closer and closer to the singularity. Actually, let me show my new book here, which is the consciousness explosion. So it may look backwards to you, but it's anyway. If you go to the consciousnessexplosion.ai, you can sign up to get a free PDF of the book, but it's going to be released on Amazon and Kindle, hardcover, paperback within a couple weeks from now. But I mean, what I'm looking at there is, how do we think about these transitions that are happening, both as transitions of technology, of society, transitions in the nature of work and employment and so on, and then governance, but also transitions of experience. Like how does our experience of the world change as we jack into more and more devices and ultimately become one with super intelligences, right? So I really think in the next 10 years, we're going to have more radical change than all of human history up to this point. But yet, step by step, there's still very concrete nitty-gritty decisions we each need to make, right? So you think about, okay, maybe 10 years from now, essentially all human jobs can be done by computers or robots.
Hmm.
And on the other hand, still, we're not there yet. It's not 10 years from now. And some industries will be overtaken before others will. Knowing in which order jobs will be overtaken by machines is very, very important from your individual point of view, even
Yeah,
though it's a little tiny detail from the standpoint of the singularity and the evolution of the human species, right? Like I mean, my daughter is an artist. Jobs in graphic arts are not that easy to come by right now, right? And I mean, she's good at prompting Midjourney and Stable Diffusion. On the other
yeah,
hand, I mean, a lot, and she may be extra super good at it. She made some amazing illustrations for my book, but still, that whole domain of employment is getting screwed up quite a lot. Whereas, like waiting tables is being screwed up a lot less, right?
yeah,
Or I mean, what's it going to be in 5 years from now, right?
yeah,
Are all web programmers unemployed because LLMs can write code? Quite possibly, but then is writing a requirement specification obsoleted? or do we still need humans to write the requirement specification that you feed to the AI that writes the code, right? So like we're all in the position now of having to tap dance really quickly to sort of guess which will be the niches left open to humans as AI encroaches on more and more of what have been traditionally human domains.
Yeah. Now, obviously, the Apple had spent tremendous amount of energy and money in R&D and development and executing Vision Pro. You look at that product. It has so much AI, but obviously, there in the product spec, there's nothing talking about AI. What is your take of Vision Pro and an AI stack that is inside this particular product, and where these things are going? So, for example, like you said about your daughter about the art jobs not there. I've seen the art is shifting a lot in digital, and so I also started seeing a lot of these virtual reality type of art environments and platforms where the artists now they're coming, they're collaborating.
I
So
mean, I think VR certainly will come and will be important for people. I think the Vision Pro is a cool product. I tried it out. I'm not inspired to wear it around every day personally. I mean, but I think Apple knows that, and once they get something with the form factor of these glasses I'm wearing that does what the Vision Pro can do and more, then everyone will use that VR AR device, right? And I think philosophically, virtual reality is going to be very important to people because I mean we can fly around in alternate universes. We can navigate data sets in high dimensions rather than just looking at them on the screen. I mean, so for a combination of entertainment and practical reasons, I mean, VR will be awesome. And yes, it will be AI that is creating these VR worlds on the fly, right? Because why not? Why pay humans to author all that content when AI can create the virtual world for you based on what you need from understanding your mind. I mean, as well as AI dealing with so many of the just perceptual aspects as it does in Vision Pro. I think the technology is not quite there yet, but our standards become very high now because things are coming so fast. So like with
yeah,
self-driving, people are like, no, true self-driving is 10 years off, and they think they're insulting Tesla or something. But I mean, when I was a kid, people thought it was impossible.
yeah,
The fact that the pessimists think it's 10 years off, that certainly tells us something, right? And I mean, the same is true with VR. Like, okay, Vision Pro is a bit bulky and the field of view isn't everything you'd want. It's cool. But I mean, okay, maybe it's 5 or 10 years before we get something that has a form factor of sunglasses. But I mean, if that's only 10 years off, that's a fucking blip in the history of the human species, right? I mean, that's amazing. That's really, really close.
yeah,
Actually, same is true with AGI. Like I think we can get to human level intelligence in 3 or 5 years from now, but people are like, no, it's going to be at least 10 or 15 years. And I mean, okay, maybe. If so, I'm 57. I'll probably still be around and in good health then, and that's so close in terms of the history of
yeah,
the human species. I mean, we take so much for granted, and we take for granted how amazing is the position in history in which we find ourselves when I mean everything can be upended and replaced by a situation of radical physical and mental abundance within
yeah,
either a small number of years or a small number of decades, either of which is nothing in the scope of human history.
yeah. Now, I love to continue the conversation. This is a short format, bold talks that we do. Final question, Ben. What does the word bold mean to you?
Bold? It's a font, I guess. Yeah. It's the first thing that popped to mind. Yeah. But I mean, but more seriously, if you look at what we need to deal with the approach to singularity, to deal with the radical changes that are happening right now and that will be accelerating in the next few years, it seems to me that certainly broad, deep knowledge is valuable, and being a generalist who's able to gain new specialties relatively rapidly will be valuable, but also just having the right attitude of plunging into the unknown, just like in Star Trek, which is where I learned about AI even before Feinberg's Prometheus project, boldly go where no man has gone before, right? I mean, I think we need that attitude more than ever because we are boldly going where no man has gone before, even more so and much faster than they were in the fictional Star Trek universe, right? So, I mean, we need an attitude of initiative and bravery and acceptance of risk because there's not much choice other than to huddle in the corner afraid of all the crazy shit that's happening.
And with that, with a great attitude, always be bold, Ben. Congrats on all your achievements and successes. Thank you for joining me in this Bold Talk series and look forward to seeing you again soon. Until next time, take care, be great, and be bold always.
You too. All right. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Ben.